Hey, welcome back to How to Barbecue Right. I'm Malcolm Reed, and today I'm going to show you how I do an apricot and apple double smoked glazed ham. And this is a 8-pound Compart Duroc ham I have here. It comes from the butt section of the ham, and it's really truly is one of the best hams money can buy. Of course, you could cook any ham, but why not cook the best? And if you hadn't checked out Compart's meat, go to their website and check them out. What we're going to do with this ham today is we're going to get it out on the smoker on top of some apricot and apples. We're going to get some smoke going on it, get some flavors going, and at the very end I'm going to show you how I make up this apple and apricot glaze that's going to go over the top. Just make it beautiful. Let's get to cooking. So the first thing I'm going to do for this apricot and apple glazed ham is just cut up some apples. And there's no right or wrong way, just quarter them up. We're going to put these in the bottom of an aluminum pan or a roaster pan. So we've got our apple slices. Let's put in a few apricots. So now we're going to score the outside of the ham before we put it on those apples and apricots. And I'm just using a box cutter with a clean blade, or put a new blade in it, because it controls the depth. And what we're going to do is we're just going to start on the skin and we're going to space it out. Just go all the way through, space it out about 1 inch. Make sure you get the front half. There's a bone there, that's okay, just go right around it. Then we're just going to move our knife and come back the opposite way. So it kind of makes this diamond pattern. And it's going to open up a little bit as it cooks. It's going to give some surface area for that glaze to run down in the ham. And I'm just going maybe, about 1.25 inches deep. It's not very deep. Just got the knife set there. That's why I like using the box cutter to do it. So we're going to set our scored ham right on top of these apples and apricots. Then I've got just a little bit of apple juice I'm going to pour in here with it, just to add a little extra moisture. I'd say about 1/2 cup would be plenty. Now our ham's ready for the smoker. Let's get it outside, get it on some heat. So I'm cooking on my Kong ceramic grill today, made by Grilla Grills. You want to get it fired up just with some good lump charcoal. And you'll notice the way I do it, I kind of run my charcoal around the edges for this cook, because I want it to be a long cook. I'll use a few wax cubes to start the fire on one side, and I'm just going to let it slow burn all the way around the grill. You want to start enough airflow where you got just about 1 inch coming in your intake, and then I just set it to number 1 on the exhaust. Now you could cook this on any kind of grill. Just hold the temp steady. You can see we're running right at 300, 275 to 300 is optimal. When we get the ham on, it'll check down just a little bit, but I'm going to add some smoke to my fire. You can see I've got my hot coals on this side, and they're just going to kind of run around. So I've got some apple wood that I'm putting on here today, because we're going to be doing that apple apricot glaze. And I'm going to just scatter it out so it gets some smoke throughout the cook. Get our rack in place, and now we're ready for our ham. So we're going to get our ham on our Kong grill here, and I'm just going to set it right in the center. Pan's going to help protect it. Those apricots and apples are going to cook down. We've got a little moisture in there. It's going to be perfect. Got this apple smoke rolling over the outside. Let's close her down, let it come back up to temp. So what we're going to do now is just keep the lid closed and watch our temp gauge. We want to hold it in that 275, 300 range. We're going to get some smoke on it for a little while, and then we're going to check our internal temperature. We need to bring it up to about 135 before we glaze, 140 serving temp. So we don't want that glaze to burn. We're just going to put it on at the very end. We'll show you how it's done. Just keep watching. Okay, our ham's been on about 1.5 hours, and I want to go ahead and get a probe in it so we can see what the internal's doing. So we'll just take a peek at it. See, it's starting to open up where we've scored it. That's what we want. You want to make sure you don't hit the bone. Just go in a thick part. So I'm just going to go in right here. You don't have to go super deep, but that's all we want to do. Right now we're running at about 119 internal. So we want to glaze it at about 135. We've got a little ways to go. I got an alarm set, so it'll let me know on the smoke alarm here. Okay, for our glaze that we're going to use on this half ham, I'm starting with the little brown sugar in a small pot. We're going to add just a little bit of apple juice. Then we're going to add our apricot preserves, some apple butter to really give it a little bit more flavor. And then we're going to just thin it down with just a touch of vinegar just to give it a little bit of acidity. We're going to kind of bring that to a slow boil, cook it down just a little bit because we want it to reduce just a little bit so it stays nice and syrupy like consistency. Then we're going to be ready to glaze this on our ham. As you can see here, we've hit 135 on the internal on our ham that's on our Kong today. Well, that's when I want to get this glaze on it that we put together. So let's open it up and check it out. It's looking good, man. We got some good color. It really opened up where we put that crosshatch in it. And I'm just going to use this basting brush and just kind of get this glaze all over the top. You want it to go down in the cracks. That's what we cut those slits into it for. I know this glaze tastes delicious. I wish you could smell how it smelled on this ham too. It looks awesome. It's gonna give it some really nice presentation, but it's gonna taste out of this world. All right, so now we just gotta get the lid closed. We're gonna let this glaze sit till we get to 140. We need about another 4 degrees right now. We've done crept up one more, and this ham will be done. We'll be able to take it inside, rest it a little bit. Okay, our ham has hit its mark, 140 degrees internal. It's time to get it off the cooker. We looked at about 3 hours, 15 minutes total time. Wasn't bad at all. We glazed it about the last 20, 25 minutes. Took it to finish out there, and that's all she wrote. We're gonna take it inside, let it rest a little bit. I'm gonna get it out of this juice, get it out of the apples and apricots. We got everything we could out of them. We're gonna sit it on the cutting board and let it rest. I know it's gonna be delicious. Just look at it. Okay, the ham's been resting here on the cutting board for about 10 minutes. That's all it needs. And if you were taking this somewhere else, of course, you could wrap it up in foil. You could hold it in a cooler. It'd stay warm for several hours. You could even refrigerate it and then warm it up the next day if you needed to. Be perfectly fine. Okay, let's talk real quick about what we did. We started with the 8-pound shank portion, half ham. We used a box cutter set about 1 inch thick to give us these score marks all over the outside. We cut up a few Granny Smith apples. We put some apricots in the bottom of a shallow roasting pan, a little bit of apple juice for some moisture. Cooked it from 275 for about 3 hours. Then we glazed it once it hit 135 internal. That's where we use that apricot preserves, some of that apple butter, some brown sugar, a little bit more apple juice, and a touch of cider vinegar. That made this beautiful glaze. Set the glaze for about 15 to 20 minutes till it finished at to 140 internal, and this is where we're at. It's that quick and that easy. And now my favorite part, I get to cut this ham. So I'm just gonna cut some slices off the bottom here. Just use a good knife. Cut it thick or as thin as you like. I like a good thick piece of ham. I don't know about y'all. If it's Christmas, you gotta have a piece of ham, right? Check that out. It's just rolling right off. So there's crunchies. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I'm gonna get a piece out right here. You know I wanna try it. I wanna make sure I got some of that bark on top of it. See what we're working with. I know it's hot. I see it smoking. I'm telling y'all, you can taste that smoke on there that we put. Apple wood gave it a nice subtle flavor on top of what was already there. It's moist and juicy all the way through. That apricot glaze that we put on there adds a little bit of sweetness to the top, to that bark that we made on it. And since we made those cuts, it kind of lets it get down in there so you get some of that flavor. But this is ham worth waiting for. This one's simple to do. You can do it on any grill, and I promise you, everybody that tries it is gonna love it. There's gonna be plenty leftovers too. Hey, thanks for checking us out here at HowToBBQRight today. If you don't wanna know when we're putting out new videos, just subscribe to that channel. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. We love the comments and the questions. We try to answer them all. Have a happy holiday.